Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob.
How long has it been since I've known you?
Oh. We met 2016.
Yes.
Yeah. We met in 2016.
At Star Market Salinas,
Yes.
where you started as the cheese girl, or you started as the front bagger?
Started as a bagger.
Yeah.
And then I
guess we
worked
all
my
did.
way up to experienced bagger that could sell lottery tickets.
Yeah. I was
And
always
then-
impressed.
Yeah.
I was like, I wanted to do that.
I was like, for a minimum wage job, they put like such a like, if you could sell lottery tickets, you were respected.
Mhm.
Like that was the creme de
Everyone
la
else, you
creme.
were basically a high schooler.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
that's it.
And it was like, no, they trust me enough to use a cash register.
And how old were you in 2016?
Nah. I think it was in 20.
You were 20. Really?
No. I was 19.
Yeah, okay. I was like, really? I thought you were younger than that. At the
No, it
time in 2016, 4 years ago, I guess I was 21.
No. What kind of? Like when we first met, I was 19 and you were 20.
That's right. I was almost 21.
And then like,
I think the first month of our relationship was no alcohol.
because I couldn't
Neither of us.
drink,
And
but
I
you
couldn't either.
could. You could.
At the beginning?
Yeah.
Oh.
We got together like a month after your 21st birthday.
That was it, yeah. And then I was like, I hassled you for I don't know how long
Yeah.
about it. We can't go. Like I was
You
never mean about it, but I was
hassled
like,
me
so
so
we can't go
much.
to clubs, we can't go to comedy shows because you're not old
We
enough.
can't go to
And
comedy
then you
shows.
turned 21 and we never went.
Never did. And now you're moping
We went to
around.
some stuff. We went to a lot of concerts.
We did. But now you're moping around because it's COVID and we can't do jack shit. And you're like,
Yeah.
all I want to do is go to comedy clubs. And I was like, when we had the chance, we never
We
did.
We did consistent Catalyst shows for a while.
Yeah. And then we did those really dumpy, comedy shows in like North Salinas.
You say dumpy, but like, of course, you know.
Yeah,
This
it
is
was like an
Salinas
under-
and Monterey. I mean, what were we expecting? It's not like this is the cultural hub of the world where you have like excellent comedy. It's not LA or New
It
York.
was like 1 out of like 10 people you actually could genuinely laugh. The rest was
I
like
mean,
pity laughter.
And to be fair, we only went because we knew someone in the actual show.
Yeah.
Who was probably the worst one. Although, Matt, we love you. You're amazing. You're an awesome person. Those were not your nights. The 2
No.
nights that we went.
No.
One in Salinas, one in Monterey, right?
I think so. Where
Yeah.
Aaron put his feet up on the stage.
Oh, that was so funny! And then and I saw it, and the whole time I was just like, you don't do that.
No.
You just don't put your feet on the stage. Even if you're in the
I
front
know,
row,
I
even if
know.
it's just the edge of the stage,
I
it's
know.
the stage. This is where they're working, bro.
I know they're performing in a coffee shop.
Yeah.
But like some respect is
Yeah.
needed.
And nobody said anything until
that girl called him out
until
on
the end.
stage.
Until she actually called him out and then made him laugh. And I feel like he was
He was humbled by
he
that.
was humbled by that. Thank God, because bro, you don't put your feet on the stage. And that was when he brought his friend Kaylee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sweet
and
gal.
she's sweet gal, most beautiful like little Christian girl I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like beautiful like soul.
No, she like
Yeah.
reminds me of like the embodiment of Rapunzel.
Ah, yes!
Yeah.
I totally believe it.
Yeah,
That's kind
she's
of what
like-
being like growing up in Christianity in the church kind of is.
Yeah, she's just so pure and just always like talking to her. She never had like a bad view of something. Like honestly,
Very
she's
positive.
like Jane from Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw that
Jane
out
was
there.
lovely.
Jane, she was the purest heart. Never saw any bad in anyone. Always the optimist. And same with
Yeah.
the girl.
Hard to read though, and that's kind of was like a key feature of the book, right?
Yeah,
Like nobody
Well, she was
actually knew
too
what she was thinking.
modest.
The only person that actually knew was her sister,
and she barely told her.
and even she had trouble pulling it out of her. Is what she said.
This conversation has gone a whirlwind.
Yeah, that's how it goes. That's how I like it. But we just watched that last night, and that was fun.
After I just finished the book.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's what we were waiting on. And
So,
you
like, I
finished it.
felt
actually, you
like-
finished it really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a pretty fast reader.
Not really.
Well, you're
But like,
Seems like you're
I don't
faster
do
when you
anything
first
else,
got
so
together.
it's
Yeah, well,
it makes it seem like
it's a lot of books to read, I guess. Dude, you gotta read All Systems Red.
I do.
Yeah, you
I
gotta
have to
finish.
this. I have to finish Stephanie Meyer's Midnight Sun first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that is, I have ranted way too much to you about
Oh,
that
I
book.
love hearing about it. I love hearing about the sparkly vampires. Especially the sparkly vampires from the sparkly vampires perspective. Not from the moody teenager.
And it just makes you realize how uncomfortable the relationship
Oh,
between
no.
him and Bella is. Oh,
Is it
God.
Bella or Belle? Because I've been thinking of her as Belle for a while.
Always been Bella.
Okay, it's Bella. Who cares? Very uncomfortable because of now you know his inner thoughts, and they were as weird as
It's weird.
you would have
Weirder.
imagined.
It's weirder now.
than you would have imagined. Because I
Because,
remember
like-
everybody made fun of him from her perspective from the book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you can just think like, oh, she's a stupid teenage girl falling in love with a vampire. Oh well.
Yeah.
And now you're like, oh, he's a predator. Oh my god.
Oh, he literally watches her when she sleeps.
Yes.
Although I guess you knew that from the book too. The other book.
Well, not really.
Oh,
but like you
okay.
knew it happened every once in a while.
Right.
It fucking happens every single
Oh,
day.
no.
Every night.
Oh,
As soon as she
no.
falls asleep, he opens the window and goes and stares at her. And then he's like, oh, she's shivering. I'll put a blanket on her. I'll remember to take it off before she wakes up in the morning.
I'll just stay in the corner while you're sleeping, waiting.
It's like, I'll ask what music she listens to, even though I've already looked through her CD collection at home.
That's not good.
It's
okay,
not
that's
good.
even worse. I would say maybe you get a pass as a vampire to watch from the corner and not do anything. But as soon as you start interacting with things and her without her knowing, that's way too far, bro. I can't even say you're a vampire. Maybe you're just weird.
And I know that when he tells her he's done this, she's gonna be like, oh, he truly loves me. He
Yeah.
wanted to know.
And she
you're
would.
like, oh my.
But the way Stephanie Meyer writes, she probably would.
Yeah. And she will. Like,
She does.
there's 3 more books.
I mean, hell, isn't it like the only reason she becomes a vampire later on is because literally she has to?
Yeah.
Because of, like her like fetal baby bites her.
Gives birth. And like, well, like, if you want to know in depth, if we're going into
Does it bite her
this,
tit? Well,
it does. but so like it's so weird because literally like the vampire Edward is like, I'm so pure, we can't have sex until marriage. And then they get married, and literally the first time they have sex she gets pregnant.
yeah.
But it's like a vampire baby, so it's instead of a 9-month pregnancy, it's like 3 months. And it's like, and then the last month of it, like the vampire baby is like drinking Bella's blood through like her, and so like Bella's slowly dying and becoming like a little shriveled mummy, and then like Edward is hating the baby, and because it's killing the love of his life, and then he's like, I can never turn her into a vampire. That's the most. Oh my god, we don't have to talk about this.
We do. We do.
We're like
we really do.
like middle schoolers coming out.
Yeah. Oh man, that was like everyone's like sexual awakening. Like every middle school girl's sexual awakening.
No matter how much it pains me, like the Twilight series actually got me into reading.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
that's what young adult fiction always does. Like for me, it was Percy Jackson.
Oh, exactly.
That was the thing that was like, I love these books.
I think
And
I read
everybody
Percy
did.
Jackson right after Twilight.
It was lovely.
Yeah.
And I read Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and then I read a little bit of the next one, which was
The pyramid ones.
no, those were
The Egyptian series?
It's in the same universe, but it's from like Egypt's
Mm-hmm.
and like over in those lands, I think. What was it? I can't remember. Oh, the Olympians.
Yeah, the
Percy
Olympians.
Jackson and the Olympians.
That's the same series as Percy Jackson.
No, that's different. Oh well, but it's been a long time since I've read them, but that I remember that. That was a lot of freshman year, high school, and so on.
Yeah.
Too, still reading that. I read a lot all the way up till halfway through freshman year, and I remember the moment I got the iPad. I remember the moment I was like, ooh, because up till then I hadn't even had a cell phone.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And yeah, I know, yeah.
I remember.
As far as parenting goes, I don't lay it on them too hard because we're in like a changing of an age, so like they wouldn't really know. But you can't just not give your kids a phone,
Well, like what my parents
especially when
did.
they're like even young.
Yeah.
Like you kind of have to like ease them into it and actually give them something.
Yeah. What my parents did was they gave in I didn't have a phone until 7th grade, And then what they actually did was me and my dad shared a line.
Right.
So
You
like
did that
I
through
had
high
the
school.
phone. Yeah, and I did that through high school.
Yeah, after high school, you still had a, or I guess you. Had
No,
your own
like
phone by
once
that point, but,
I think like junior year of high school, he got his own phone.
right.
But like it was so funny because like I'd be texting people like crazy, and then there'd be calls, and I'd be like, "Oh God, hello," and they're like, "Yes, I'm looking for Justin."
For a business interview.
Yeah, and I was like, "He's not at the phone right now. Can I take a message?" Or I'd like let it wait. I felt like his personal secretary. Like, Dad,
I
you
bet
have,
that's what he thought too. Like, I
Dad,
still have a
you
secretary.
have an interview on Wednesday at 2 p.m.
I bet he liked it. It's like a personal assistant.
Honestly, yeah, except she's like 12 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that in the coming age that it's kind of impossible to not give your,
I don't know.
even especially middle school,
Mm-hmm.
starting middle school, they need to have a cell
Oh,
phone. And I'm not
even-
saying that they have to have like the top of the line newest kind of phone.
Yeah.
But they do need something.
I think, yeah, middle school
Because
is a
part
good
of culture
thing.
now is essentially on the internet. Every other kid has connection to like YouTube or something like that.
Mhm.
And I didn't have any of that connection. My parents gave me a computer, and then they had one of those like super old ones,
Mhm.
and then he deleted the internet from the app, so I couldn't even use that.
What the
So I just
hell?
had a computer that had Word on it basically.
You gotta just
And
type.
then it
Just
just and then
entertain
it
yourself like
crashed.
that.
It crashed immediately and never opened again. Yeah. So I had it for like a week, and I typed up. I remember it was. I typed up. I think a Spanish
Paper.
edit. No, it was like for a test. What is it called? Study sheet. Yeah, I typed up the Spanish study sheet and I printed it out through my parents' printer, and then immediately afterward it crashed and never opened again.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's depressing.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but this is reminding me. We didn't have like an actual like real computer. I mean, like we had real computers up until middle school. My family had one of those like desktops that had like the huge screen that was like massive.
that's what I
What were
had
they
that
called?
PCs. Just a
No, it
monitor.
wasn't. It was a whole desktop unit.
Oh,
like,
you had the Mac? The
No, I don't know.
then
was
it
like
was just the monitor.
Yeah, it was the monitor, and the monitor was like a freaking huge thing, and it
Yeah.
weighed like 80 pounds,
Yeah.
and that sat in the kitchen.
It's crazy that TVs were that big back then, because now I'm just looking at ours, 50-inch and flat.
Yeah, no, it was the computer though, and I just
Yeah.
remember like whenever the screensaver would go on, we had it set up to be like some puzzle thing that was like, the screen, like it was a first person thing, so like it's going through the maze, and I was like, wow, it's gonna turn left right now, and it turned right, and I was like, I knew it. Like that was entertainment, just watching the
Yeah.
screensaver with the brick walls of the maze go left and right and left and right.
I don't think I've seen that one.
It was old school. Like I was in elementary, just sitting in the kitchen while my mom was like cooking dinner or something. That's being stupid.
But you actually had one growing up. My parents always had one. It was in their room, in that
just
thing,
used it
in
for,
that
like-
thing that they gave us.
Oh, the chest.
That's what
The
where the
cabinet?
computer always was, and it was in their room in the corner of the thing. So I never used it.
Yeah, I only use the computer for that kids painting program.
Paint.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was just paint.
Yeah, everybody uses Paint. Even still nowadays,
Well,
it's
like
had a resurgence.
there was such a good one that was like kid friendly, and like depending on what like color you used, and when you put it down, it made a different noise.
Oh,
And it was so fun.
musical based.
It was really
Yeah.
yeah.
But do you think it's gonna be different with our kids eventually?
Yeah, I guess so.
Because for so long it's been internet has been new, or internet has been like so small that you didn't use it. Like our parents growing up
Yeah.
had no
It's going to
access,
be-
it wasn't there.
So bizarre. Like I think we have like a few years to slightly figure it out because what is it? Gen Z.
Gen Z is now
Gen Z is like the first generation to be fully engrossed in internet, and that's going to be something else. Because like watching my mom, she teaches 3rd grade. Watching her, like half her class has cell phones. That's insane. 8-year-olds.
Yeah. I don't know if 8's the right number, but I do think young is the way
Yeah.
to go. But still,
Like you have to like engross them in technology,
Right.
but it also like there's a line that we have to respect. Because I still
Well, watch
remember
time.
going to like Starbucks and studying at Starbucks and seeing that like it was the mall one, so there's like families everywhere, and seeing a family that just like was doing their Christmas shopping, went to Starbucks to have some drinks,
Mm-hmm.
and they had like a 2-year-old with them, and the 2-year-old was wanting to play and get up and run around, and you're like, yeah, she's 2, she can do that. Like, a 2-year-old running around a store is not a nuisance. It's a child getting their energy out.
Mm-hmm.
But the parents were so adamant that you have to sit down and be quiet and watch, and they kept getting their phone and putting it in front of them with like the Muppets or whatever playing.
Stimulation so you stay still.
But like, using technology for that specifically is not great. Like, if the kid has to have like a good balance of technology. I understand using it for entertainment, but using it as a way to shut your kid up and have them sit down and be quiet is not great.
Yeah, no, I don't like that at all. I feel like going forward, especially because it's so handy, and we always have a cell phone on us.
Oh yeah.
That like the easiest thing to do is always going to be, here's this like wild magic rectangle that'll capture your attention and keep you quiet. And then us as like as adults, we're like, great, you're sitting still and you're being quiet, which is amazing. But it's like almost like a cheat code, because like you're not really helping their future or helping them behave. You're just distracting them now, and as soon as you pull that away, now they're a different person.
Yeah, and like
there's them when they have the cell phone, and there's them when they don't have the cell phone.
Yeah, like the 2-year-old in the Starbucks, when like she got distracted and stopped looking at the phone, she was her normal self and started running around the store. And then the parents got mad, yelled at her, put her down in the chair, and slapped the phone in front of her.
The easiest way to do that is the phone. And there are going to be times when I feel like as parents, you have to give into it, because they're just
like, I
sometimes you just
understand
do.
like the stressed parent that is just tired and needs a break, and so here's the phone. I understand that.
I don't want to like
but
be
I don't
mean to them,
use
but
that
at the same time, I know that it's probably not just this time that I saw you.
Yeah, I understand that fully, but I don't want to use that as a crutch.
Right. Yeah. I think that's something to be aware of one day when we have kids.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm freaking freezing.
You don't want to take your pants off.
No, I'm cold. I love this apartment.
Yeah, it's a nice one.
It was a great apartment. How did that even go? So I lived in my parents' house, and then I moved to George Fox for a year-ish, and then I was no longer at George Fox. I went back home and then lived there for a while, and I hated it. And then I met you, and then we hit it off for a while. And then for a while I lived in Seaside, which is a story of its own. When I moved out of my parents' house, at that house. What are you doing?
She wants on your lap.
You want up? Okay, come on up. Oh, hello, buddy. Hello, girl. Hello.
This is the dog.
Doggy.
Currently kissing Jacob's face.
Yes. You know, I'm not upset about it. I don't know why people are so...
It's uncomfortable.
I guess it's unsanitary, but, like, I kind of like it. I know that you're trying to show affection, and this is the most consistent way that you know that you can show affection.
Okay, I'm, like, okay with it, but sometimes she gets really excited and, like, is not just licking your face, but actually, like, nibbling your face, too.
Yeah, she is biting a little bit, but it's like happy, like light bites. Like my tooth scratched, like scraped against your face, and I'm okay with it.
Ow! And I throw her across the room.
You should. I shouldn't let it happen. But it's like I just love that it's her way of showing affection. I kind of don't want to stop her.
Staring deep into my eyes, like I'm on his lap.
The dog she met today came up to me, and just licked my face a bunch too. Yeah.
I like that dog.
Yeah, me too. The best dog.
The best.
That guy's nice. He's clearly homeless, and I don't know, why. But
I think
it sounded like when I was having conversations with him, he was a little bit out there, Yeah. He's so maybe that's why.
From something.
But I don't know if it's so bad, because he seems to be having an okay time.
Yeah.
He's just doing his thing.
Yeah, but it's like.
And I don't think that there's anything wrong with just doing
anything. Have some form of like depression or schizophrenia, and he like falls in that category.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was higher than 30.
Or is it 30% of people with schizophrenia become homeless?
Interesting.
I think it's something along that.
That's a large number.
Yeah, and it's terrible.
It's so sad, because you grow up, and unless someone says you have the X thing, you just assume that you're never going to have any issues with mental health.
Yeah.
And I think for the most part, that's true for most people. But like a lot of people develop something like later on that they didn't know was going to be a thing earlier. And I didn't understand that for a while, She does love you too.
She steps on my spleen.
How's Hunter? Is there anything new that's happened recently?
I mean, like,
recently.
he's still in love with Freddie Mercury
Mm.
and believes they share a body.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. And then my dad is on antidepressant, I hope.
Yeah.
So again, like, along the lines of, like, mental health, he said that, like, you just hope that you don't have it until someone diagnoses you.
Yeah.
There's, like, me in that aspect, like, half of my family has something,
Right.
and then whenever, like, I feel down, I just kind of, like, hold myself to that.
It's possible.
It's possible, but, like, I don't want to.
Right.
Like, already half of my immediate, like, family, my mom, dad, and brother, suffer from some form of, like, depression.
Is your mom?
No.
Okay.
So I'm like, we gotta be the strong ones.
Right.
And
You've
that's
never
why-
really seemed like someone who struggled particularly with it.
I
Like,
know,
I mean,
but,
you
like,
get down, but it's never been like, I'm in a depressive state, like, I need to be medicated. kind of thing.
No. And I don't want to, like, but, like, sometimes I feel that, you know? Where it's
You
like,
feel
you're
that
so
Yeah.
down and in the dumps and depressed, and, like, I feel like, and you've often said, like, I should
feel like I've
call
struggled
out
with it
and, like,
recently more
reach
than
with
you.
that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But there's that, like, for me, the underlying, I have to be the strong one. My family is already, like, so corrupt
Right.
mentally.
Right. You want to, like, assume that you're not gonna... And I think that that's true, especially for you. Like, I don't think that you need to worry too much. And I'll let you know if it's a little bit much and what you need to do. Just like you've suggested to me, like, if I'm really struggling with it, I should call the Whole Foods number that you gave me. which is right. That's what you're supposed to do. And then
Do you
when
still have that number?
Yeah, I still have it. I actually, it's in the book I was reading.
Oh, cool.
That's
It's a
the
bookmark
It's
now.
the bookmark, yeah. It's just I gotta know where it is, and that's in case I need it. I haven't called it yet, but I've been wanting to, and I have been wanting to for a while.
Yeah,
I don't know
it's
why I
like-
put it off.
Therapist. It's
Yeah.
free.
It's just
Complimentary.
it's helpful, right?
One of the best things Whole Foods offers.
Yeah.
Complimentary
And luckily,
mental health care.
it's for you too.
Yeah. It's really cool. It's anyone in... Oh my god. It's anyone in my household.
Why are you flailing?
She doesn't like being held like a baby.
She's like, I like to be in control,
She's a
Dad.
45-pound dog. She's not 6 pounds.
Anyway, but yeah. There's always that. Do you think Hunter will ever get to the point where they're good and you know they're good? Because it's been a lot recently.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to get into that, but how do you feel about this whole situation going forward? Like, what do you think is going to happen? Do you want to share that, or do you not want to share that?
Rather not.
It's fine.
Just like vaguely,
Yeah.
I'm very concerned for them.
Right.
Right now, it seems like they'd prefer their mental state, even though they know it's not what it's supposed to be.
Right.
They prefer that over a clear mind.
Right.
They're currently embracing the voices inside their head as angels, when I know 5 years ago, no, it had to be more than that. I know, like, 8 years ago or so, when their schizophrenia, like, actually emerged, like, the voices in their heads were telling them to do terrible things. And for them to say, yes, the voices are different right now, but he should not be following them. And living happily with that, should just, I don't know. Currently he's very content with the voices in his head, but I know it could be worse. And he's just living the joy of Freddie Mercury's telling me I look cute right now.
Right.
Freddie Mercury
I
told
kinda
me to
wanna-
eat these mushrooms.
yeah.
I'm gonna do it. Don't like that.
Do you want to should I share what happened as far as I remember it?
No. I don't want to get into it. I got into it, but I don't want to.
I'm excited for Christmas.
Christmas is gonna be great.
Yeah.
It's gonna be real good.
think
You
it's
still
gonna
gotta
be
get
really
white pants.
I do need white pants. Hunter does need white pants. That was so sad. We went for a walk down to Manzanita, and Oh, Tracy decided that was the moment when I went to go pick up Hunter to pee in the front seat. And
Hunter sat in the front seat.
Hunter sat in the front seat, and I didn't know that until we got there. And then Hunter got out and was like, I think Tracy peed in the seat. And I was like, what? And they're wearing white pants, of course.
Yeah.
And they were stained yellow, basically.
During that whole walk?
That was, during the whole walk. But,
Well,
I mean, they were dried off by the end of it, and I had some shop towels in the back. So I used those to dry it up, and it was fine, but that was kind of a bummer.
Yeah. White pants for Hunter. I think we did great with Christmas gifts so far.
Yeah.
I still have to buy, like, all of yours.
I do, we do have to send Sammy her sweatshirt.
We gotta wrap it. We also gotta wrap your mom's. Currently, they're just on the floor in our bedroom.
Yeah.
The dog
good
keeps
wrap
sleeping
your mom.
on Sammy's one.
I saw that. She won't mind.
She's like, you smell nice.
Yeah. Dude, that was so cute.
What?
What the present we got Sammy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Santa
love it.
sweatshirt. Yeah.
I low-key want that.
I know, it's really adorable, and
Yeah.
it's just her style, and she'll love it. It's like a reminder of home.
Yeah.
And I got
It's also
Woo.
a cactus. I don't even know.
I
Yeah,
got
she
Woo
doesn't listen to
that
it.
set, and so because he was saying that he was interested in it for like a one comment on a text.
Yeah.
But I feel like the set, like, what else am I gonna get him? You
I
know,
had a baby.
last year, you know what I got him? I got him the front headlights for a Honda Civic, which is what he's driving.
Okay.
So, you know, it's like, as
This
far as things go, that's something he wanted, that's something he needed, but that's not something there's any thought behind.
Yeah. The whittling kit is like it's a stretch, but it's like cute. You guys have a slight connection with that one text comment.
Right, yeah.
Also,
it's nice.
like
I
a
like
cool
having
little
something
gift.
with him, you know?
Yeah.
I don't have anything with him.
Better than Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels was yeah.
It was funny.
It was funny.
But that
I
was
love
it.
my father.
Your mom got that.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was like, I thought
it was meant
gonna
as a
be
joke.
fun.
I like jokes. I like them. I never think that they don't hit as hard for me, I feel like, that as they do for other people. You know? It was nice, though.
Yeah. I think you still have them.
I do. Actually, they're in the drawer right next to me. Yeah. I haven't opened them yet, either package.
Oh, man.
That's the reason. Like, I liked it. It wasn't really like a joke either. It was just like, I don't know, here's a toy. It's kind of cool. Maybe we can make a track together. But
Yeah.
we have really no plans to make a track
Apparently,
together.
like, when Woo opened that, they were having your parents were on a Skype call with Sammy and Woo.
Oh.
But Woo's parents were also there.
Oh, interesting.
And so when he opened it, he was like, wow! And, like, his parents thought that, like, your parents saw Woo as a child getting him toys like this.
Yeah, that's what I was
It
thinking.
was,
I was
like, not interpreted properly.
that's what I was like.
But is even more hilarious because of that.
Yeah, kind of. But, like, not for
But,
the
like,
good
sad.
reasons. Yeah,
But
not
funny,
for the not
but
for like
funny.
the
It's like that demented humor.
but it's not from their perspective. It's not
No.
more funny.
No.
Knowing that
It's not
Sammy's
from, like, strict...
in-laws do that. Yeah. And that's what I'm like, it's like with my parents especially my relationship with them always has felt like that it's like the groundwork is set for you to actually have a deeper relationship with me, and yet you don't go farther to make this a deeper relationship, like a relationship that I would go, I have a father-son or father-son-mother relationship.
Yeah.
Instead, you're just my parents who never really accepted me as a fully grown adult.
Well, I feel like your parents also took, like, the religious route of we are raising a son to be a good person.
Yeah, but not even...
But that not a friendship basis of that.
Yeah,
Whereas,
they told
like,
me specifically they never wanted to be my friend.
Yeah.
You know, and I always got
I
it
think
as I
that's,
want to
like-
be a good parent, but like also I never really got much of a
Mhm.
like I'm parenting now and I want you,
Yeah.
I'm
See,
doing this
like-
for to help you.
Yeah.
I never got that.
I feel like
I don't think I ever needed it specifically.
my mom specifically is like an overreach version of your parents, or like the opposite in a way. Like my mom always wanted to be my friend,
Yeah.
to the point where you shouldn't.
She kind of like put you off a bit.
Yeah. But like your parents were we're the parent, you're the child, you're 23 and it's still this way.
25 now.
25 now. Well, they respect
You're
you a lot
23.
more than they did when we first got together.
Yeah, not really.
Mm-hmm.
They have all these opportunities to use me, even not, like less in the same way that you would use your child, but like can help you as a grown adult, like ask for help in doing on backyard work.
Yeah.
And
I
they
feel like your
skip
parents
over all
don't
these
want to
opportunities to help me.
impose.
But it's like you could offer, you know. Even if I can't make it, I can't make it. But you don't even. But like, when else am I gonna hang out with you?
I don't know.
Like
I
there
feel
is
like
literally the
your
only time I
parents
could.
Also,
I don't go to church anymore.
Really, yeah. But your parents also got married, and then within a year had you.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have time to be just themselves.
Yeah.
So I think right now they're experiencing that, and they're liking it.
They're experiencing the freedom
of not having anyone in their household.
Doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're doing the same thing my parents are doing for the first time too.
Mm-hmm.
When I moved out is
That's
when
funny.
when I moved out, and then Sammy moved out right away, like right
Mm-hmm.
about the same time, because she got married too, which.
Well, Sammy
wild.
moved out, and then
She's
you
younger
moved
than
out
me.
a few months later, and then we got married.
I got engaged to you, then she got engaged, then she got married, and then moved out, and then I moved out.
Dude, what's wrong with you?
Right?
Your timeline is out of whack. Like,
Okay, my timeline
Sammy
isn't out of whack.
got
yeah.
engaged while you were still living at home. Got married in June. You moved out a month later. A year later, we got engaged and then got married.
Huh.
Like 6 months later.
Huh.
What is your timeline?
My timeline is wild, man.
You
I
got
have
engaged before
horrible,
Sammy?
horrible sense of direction, horrible sense of time management.
Just because you're older doesn't mean that the time
Yeah,
sequence is
no.
like that.
Jeez.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? We were talking about something.
Gotta silence my phone. What was I thinking? We were talking about how great Christmas is gonna be.
That's yeah. We were talking about it. I whittled for the first time, and I made an ornament, and then I sent that to the family group, and then Wu said he wanted he that would be a cool hobby to have, basically, and I was like, oh, cool, and then I'm sending him a set of it.
Yeah. Cut gloves, which is very helpful.
And also, I'm making Sammy a thing, which is coming along slowly.
You should.
It's not perfect.
No.
It would be nice to have a bandsaw.
Yeah.
But I don't have any access to that.
Well, Papa doesn't have
No,
that?
Papa has a circular saw, table saw.
A bandsaw is in like
A bandsaw
handle
is it goes. It's like
The
you have a
meat
table.
department?
Yeah, like the meat department one.
Okay.
Yeah, but just to explain it,
Like
it's,
for
it's
bones.
like at like belly button height, and it spins this band saw, and you use it like you can move the wood around on the table to shape wood.
I've taken a shop class. I know.
Yeah. Well, you haven't. I used to use it all the time.
Oh.
I used to use it all the time. You see, when I cut the bones in the meat department, I was a butcher.
Yeah.
I forget about that sometimes. I was literally a butcher. I don't know if I was the best butcher, but I was a butcher for a while. They had me cut off fat of steaks a lot.
You're like, I don't know.
That was the most boring one. Oh man, and I felt like the knife was never sharp enough, you know.
Yeah. Dude, it's weird, like, seeing how meat departments are run, because they're, like, working in a fridge the entire time. Like, when I go past...
Now?
Well, at least good meat departments.
Yeah.
Because you can have, like, the meat out.
Seen Costco?
I haven't seen Costco.
Costco's
We
wild.
gotta get a Costco membership!
Dude, now
and
it's
become
time.
real
It's time.
adults!
We decided the other day that it's time. Real adults, real couple, long-term
We gotta
relationship.
buy
We have a
toilet
Costco
paper
card.
in bulk.
Do they do? I guess they don't do. Do they do shareable or do they do individual? So like, would I have to get my own and you get your own, and we would be the same plan?
I don't know.
Or do we have to only get one of us gets the Costco?
I mean, we're
Only
married.
one of us could get the Costco card.
Me.
Yeah, it would be you.
Duh.
Well, it could be me. When are you gonna go to Costco and not, like you gonna go to Costco without me?
If I want a hot
Costco
dog...
is a
If I
trip.
want a hot dog.
Okay, but
Fuck
you don't
yeah.
have to have a Costco card to go to the food court.
Really?
Yeah, usually it's outside, and when it's not, they let you go to the food court.
What the hell?
Well, it's all blocked off, right?
How
There's
come
the big
I have
fence.
not gotten more Costco
That
hot
you
dogs?
always could have, unless the food court is not in behind the registers, which it always is. Then you're good to go. And if I'm wrong about that, then I could be wrong about that. But most of the time, they don't stop people from going to lunch because why would you? You know, you lose business if you
I
don't
want
let
a
them in to have
brat.
food. Yeah, and it's just in the moment. It's not really the same as everything else. But Costco card now. If only one of
Okay.
us can get it, you get it.
Yeah, duh. But the last time we went to Costco, a year and a half ago, we bought 2 years ago now. 2 fucking years. Bought a 50-pound bag of rice, and I think we've used 6 pounds of it.
I feel like we're closer to the end of that than you might think.
No,
I
we're
think
not.
if it's 50 pounds, then we
It's
got
25 then.
We're at least halfway, probably more.
It took us 2 years to use 25 pounds of rice, though, and we
Yeah.
still have 25 more left.
Yeah,
That's my concern with Costco.
Every 2 years we get 50 pounds of rice. Is that really so bad?
But we're gonna spend, like, how much is it a month for Costco?
I think it's like 12. Let's go with 12.
Say it's 60 a year.
Okay.
60 a year for a 20-pound, 50-pound, or $20 50-pound bag of rice
Yeah.
that I'm only gonna use every 4 years.
But it's cheap.
We can get
That's
all
the way to
alcohol.
get rice. Ooh, alcohol?
Yeah, they have
alcohol?
good deals.
Oh, they do they?
Yeah, they have.
I've never bought alcohol at
Bulk?
Costco.
You get. Well, it's
When
all
am I
bulk.
going to be getting bulk alcohol? I lived alone for 6 months and then with you. You think I was buying Costco bulk alcohol at that few?
Well, also, what did it take us, like 12? It took us like a year and a half to run through half a bottle of vodka too.
Yeah, we're not heavy drinkers. Neither of us are. We do more weed than anything.
We do.
We did for your birthday do the brownies, which were amazing.
No, they
I've never
weren't.
done weed butter before. That was good. That was a good experience. We have one container left, right?
Yeah, we do.
Okay,
we
and
have
it's
half
green,
a cup left.
which is hilarious to me that the weed butter is green.
It's called can of butter.
Can of butter. Well, that's just whatever company we're looking up the recipe for said.
But it's, yeah, technically, so I did the math after I made the batch of brownies, which wasn't the best option.
No.
Should have done that beforehand.
Which, by the way, I'm very high right now.
Okay, good for
Not
you.
very high, but I'm high.
Yes. Because you ate one of those brownies, you
Yeah.
had the small
I also
piece.
had another smaller piece.
Oh, you did.
It was about half the size of the first piece, but it was still...
Okay, but while making that said batch of brownies, it said, the box said, half a cup of butter. And when I was making the can of butter, I was like, okay, I'm making 2 cups of it, so I'll use half a cup for the brownies I'm making. And then afterward, they come out of the oven, we take a spoonful of the hot brownie, and it's delicious.
Oh, it was
and
so... It was pretty good. Okay, it was very strongly weedy.
very weedy.
Next time I would put less butter, or less weed butter.
Well, yes, because
Yes.
I looked it up later, and it said a serving of it was a teaspoon. And there's 3
Ooh.
teaspoons in a tablespoon, and there's 8 tablespoons in a half cup.
So it's very powerful.
And there should be 9 servings, like 9 good-sized brownies.
Oh my god.
But, what is it, 8 times 3?
8 times 3?
Yeah.
24.
There's 24 servings in there. And there's 24 bite-sized brownie bits.
Yeah, we were
But
having...
we didn't know.
The spoonful was
So
at
we
least
were-
one
A
leg of those.
spoonful was like 2.
Yeah.
And so we were on the floor,
Yeah.
just being stupid.
Yeah, that was fun though.
Yeah, but those brownies are killer. You
Yeah.
take like 1 bite and then
You be
you're
careful
dead.
with those. Yeah, definitely.
I wanted it to be a nice
It's
chunk.
a I don't work tomorrow kind of thing.
Yeah,
too.
that's why I didn't take one.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I work at
Yeah.
5 a.m.
Yeah, that's why alcohol's the go-to because you can really easily judge how drunk you're gonna be if you're responsible.
Yeah, like beer
Which
by
is
beer.
so hard, especially because that like reduces your ability to not be impulsive.
This?
Alcohol.
Oh.
You know, it makes you more open to experience or whatever it is.
Yeah, and weed just paranoids you.
Hmm?
Weed is just paranoia.
Weed for you is paranoia, really? I get that. I do
I
get
get
that.
very self-conscious when
Yeah.
I'm high. Like, if I'm high by myself or high with you,
I ride some waves.
like, I'm chill, I'm vibing, I'm relaxing. If
Having a good
anyone is around me, I'm instantly self-conscious
Yeah.
that they know I'm high and I look I look stupid.
Yeah, Thanksgiving was bad for me. I feel like I shouldn't have
Yeah,
gotten high.
why were we Zoom calling your family when I
It
was...
was fine. I was fine. It was fine.
I wasn't. I was very paranoid
True.
because
Yeah.
I was high and we were having a Zoom call and you
Yeah.
kept like filming me basting the turkey and putting the butter under the skin because that's what the recipe said.
Oh, I wasn't even paying attention to you.
That's what the recipe said, and you kept like showing people, and I was like, "No, stop!"
Yeah, I was trying to show them what you were doing because it was like, what else are we going to be showing them? Just me, my face, while you're cooking.
Yeah.
You're doing something. Look at what we're doing.
Shoving butter underneath
That was
the turkey.
that was
skin.
really interesting. Having my parents at my grandparents.
Yeah.
I like Joanne. I think she's a
Joanne's
lovely old
sweet.
lady. She's a sweet old lady.
Mhm.
I love her.
Classic old lady.
Yeah. You think we shouldn't have been high during that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
I forgot about the Zoom call. She told me she was going to call us later, maybe, and she never did.
She knew we were high.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Drugs
I
in
was
the
loose,
wire,
but I
baby.
wasn't like I'm wild loose. Although later on with Amber and Raven, I was a little bit.
Yeah, you put their keys in our junk drawer.
I was a little bit too much. I feel bad about it, man.
They're like, oh, we gotta leave.
Like, I can't find my keys. Where's my keys? And then Amber was blaming herself, and we were all like,
I started accusing her of like leaving them in her car.
Yeah, and then we thought that.
Or I was like, "Are you sure you didn't?" It was so cold outside. I was like, "Are you sure you didn't drop them around your car?"
Oh,
and then we were like looking in the couch cushions. They didn't even sit on the couch during that time. God. And then
you looked through your desk or through the whole corner of the room.
I just like started going through kitchen, like the knife drawer. I was like, I need to find these. I'm just gonna look to say I looked, and then open the junk drawer, and there's her lanyard of keys.
Apparently, I had been straightening up the table, and I was putting dishes away or whatever, and then I grabbed the keys, and there was like, what do I have these for? And then I put them in the junk drawer because I thought they were yours. Like,
these
maybe?
Are Piper's, and
yeah,
I was like,
guess I was just trying to get them out of the way. Yeah.
There's no pepper spray on that.
That was my bad.
There was a taser on it.
There was a taser on it?
Yeah, she has a taser.
Dude, you should get a taser, babe.
I don't know where to get a taser.
Do you want a taser? I can get you a taser.
Scary.
You should have a taser. I'm fine. You have pepper spray, but what if you miss? And I don't know how old it is.
What if I spray myself?
Actually, it's probably about a little less than a year old.
Jacob, this failed me. The can.
You should get a taser. Oh my god, it did. How sad. Okay, we just gotta follow the. Oh no!
No! The tab fell off my cider. Oh, did you cut your thumb?
Nope.
Okay.
I was careful.
Proud of you.
No, since I opened this. Is it Golden State?
Yeah, that's Cam's favorite.
Pretty good. It's mighty dry.
It's mighty dry.
How do you feel about me doing this recording thing? The Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance.
I really like that. I really enjoy that book. And you're a very philosophical person.
Yeah, it's a really good book.
Yeah, it's a lovely book. Yeah. It's really insightful and wonderful.
The thoughts are really good in between the decent enough story. Mm-hmm. The story gets his thoughts like situated and orderly. I feel like it's so hard to think about that kind of stuff, about like the nature of how it all works.
Yeah.
Without it sounding like wild, you know what I mean? Like you kind of have to leave it in your head, because it's like, if I said this out loud and I didn't actually know exactly what I was saying, then it would be like I kind of don't have grips on reality, and it scares people. But mixed into like a story setting, it's like easy to have like whenever you're at the end of your thought, you just go back to the story. And that's kind of what it feels like from him. It's like a lot of philosophical moments where it's just him thinking, really, and then it goes back to, oh yeah, I'm in a story.
Or it's like him thinking specifically, like the thoughts are provoked by the environment he's in.
Exactly, and it stirs him on farther. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you could only have thoughts like that when doing something like monotonous, that's like motion, but like not too intricate that you have to like takes up all of your like impulse
which
power.
Is why like a lot of his thoughts are sprung through the motorcycle rides he's on with his son and friends. Like, because you can't talk when you're on a motorcycle.
You're not. It's just thoughts.
It's just thought.
Yeah.
And
it's a perfect setting.
Yeah.
I don't know if he rides motorcycles, but I feel like he does with the in-depth descriptions of how it works later on.
I thought that book was like an autobiographical.
I thought it was real, and then you told me it was fiction.
Exactly.
Yeah, I thought it was from him.
Breaking.
I when I first heard about it, I thought it was about that, and I think you mentioned that to me before I started reading it, and I was like, oh, okay. So every time I heard him talking about the story as if he was there, I was just like, okay, he wrote this
I thought he had a real son. Doesn't.
No, he doesn't. I kept. It's just weird. I accidentally read him at the beginning as like a child, and then but then I was like, wait, he has his own motorcycle. I thought he was riding on the back of his. I don't know how I missed that, but it's. And then I was like, oh no, he's a grown adult. He's like, is that his like girlfriend, right?
What?
His girlfriend is, or just some other chick.
He's riding with his son across country, and his friend and his friend's wife.
His friend's wife. Okay, so it's his son. And, that's
Sylvia.
The four of them. Sylvia. Yeah.
I don't remember anyone else's name.
I don't remember his name.
Chris is the son.
Chris is the son. Okay.
And then he has like the main character has like an alter ego person, the Shashanti.
It is easier to read a book quietly for me than it is to speak it. I feel like speaking it is so much more. I'm just focusing or like getting lost in my own voice as I'm reading the words, and I'm not really absorbing the knowledge very much. For me personally.
Oh, when you're speaking it?
Even it's always been in school, it's always been like that. It's been like, okay, I'm the one that has to read, And now I'm the one for this section and not really going to absorb anything that is being learned.
Because you're just focused on saying it correctly.
Yeah. But also, that's also important because public speaking, you need this might be literally in your lifetime the only time you actually do any public speaking, besides maybe a speech class. Yeah. Like, that's required in college.
Yeah. Like, even when I'm just sitting at home and, like, I was talking to Hunter and I was like, yeah, I'm just reading, the dog's chilling on the floor. And he was like, how come you're not reading to her? They love to hear your voice. And I was reading, and then, like, it just registered that I was focused on reading, and I wasn't retaining any of the information.
Yeah.
So, like, when you read, yes, it is better, and, like, I see myself...
And you can retain the information. Like, I'm getting the story.
Yeah.
But, like...
Reading quietly does that. But, like, also, you read slower when you read out loud.
Me? Yeah, I definitely do.
Well, just everyone in general.
Yeah, because your mind isn't, like, bogged down by, like,
it's not focusing on, like... That's not how you pronounce this word.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
Like, straight up, when I was reading Pride and Prejudice, I was just flying through it.
Yeah.
And I was, like,
you can absorb
making
a lot.
up people's names. I was, like, not even bothering pronouncing it properly.
Why were you trying to go so fast?
I think it was Wicca, because I was like, I wanted to watch the movie.
Really? Okay, I thought you went so quick. Pride and Prejudice is a good book. You would say so.
Honestly, it was really good. Like, I want to get into Jane Austen much more because of this.
I read that in middle school.
Good for you.
But okay, here's the thing. I read a lot of books in middle school, but I did have, like, a whole collection of, like 30 books, I think, that were the kids' versions of all of these. It was edited down to all be about the same size. I think. But I did read all the books. But I remember, in my head, for some reason, I remember them all being the same size. Like, and I didn't think that was weird until I was done with them all, and then I realized that maybe it was an edited version for kids. I don't know. But I don't think it was edited much, because that would be kind of wild.
You have a weird memory, though. You thought you got engaged before your sister.
Didn't I? I feel like I did! Okay, our engagement was way less than theirs.
No, it was around the same.
Wait, they lived together.
Yeah.
They lived together by the time.
We were literally staying at their house when we got engaged.
I don't know what the hell I was thinking. That was way off. Holy crap. My mom is self-conscious about her memory. And I think I am too, a little bit. Yeah. To be realistic, I feel like I have a shitty memory. I'm not too hung up on it. Like, my mom feels like she's hung up on it.
I poked the dog in the eye. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I've been thinking about that a lot recently. About my mom. Because it feels like she's struggling with something, but I don't know what. Because I don't talk with her because I don't have a relationship with her. You know? Like, she could have a friend to talk to her about her feelings with if she wanted to. And I would be willing to have especially that relationship.
Go have lunch with her.
I want to, but there's no reach out in the other direction either. So I've told her specifically. I guess I could, yeah.
I think if they're not doing it, it's up to you. You can't just constantly be like, they're not doing it, so I'm not going to bother. If you want a relationship with your parents, you have to reach out more.
Yeah. I got so upset at the last vacation.
I know.
I shouldn't have gotten as upset as I did, but...
It's like, you have a family ideal you want in your mind, and I understand that it's very difficult.
It's not even, like, ideal. It's just, like, better.
It's just, you want
it's like, I know it's better and I could have
different.
It. Yeah.
But, like, it's not the way your family...
Yeah, it's not the way, and I'm frustrated about that, and I don't want her to... I don't want to, like, force her into being uncomfortable, you know what I mean? Like, it's not what I'm trying to do, but, like, at the same time, wouldn't anyone want that kind of relationship with their kid if they could have it? And if the only thing that's holding you back, you don't have, like, I know she doesn't have, like, a deep, detailed friends group. She has the church, and she has, basically the Starks, I think, and it's lovely that they hang out. But, like...
It's like the church.
The church takes up a lot of her time, too.
But it might not anymore.
Yeah, well, it's not doing so hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think about that, and I feel like I should be more upset about that. Not really. Yeah. Because I was there for a while, but not that long.
Yeah.
And it got awkward because I, like, wanted to ask them about the church, but I knew how serious it was, and I didn't want to, like, be uncomfortable, like, make them upset. Like, I didn't want to. I know that it's not a small thing when your church is failing. And
I think it's also difficult because you've made it clear that you're not following the church anymore.
And if I had been Christian, then maybe I would be just, I'm interested in the knowledge. But then again, they never really taught me, like, we never really talked about the church in general, like, or about religion at all. So it's like, I don't even have anything to really dip in to talk about that in the first place. There's, like, no bridge to that. realm, because I just never had any conversations like that with them. Did you have any religious like conversations with your parents ever about like what do you believe and what do you think?
Nope.
Wouldn't that, as far as, but like I'm absolutely serious here. Growing up, would that not have been helpful?
I don't know.
To like, but like, have not even like we have to have serious conversations now. We sit down and we talk about religion. I mean, like, wouldn't it be nice if sometimes they asked a more deeper question about life towards you and what you thought about it, or even asked just what do you believe about this thing? Because that's like, growing up, the parents seem to rely on their kids going to church as enough of a philosophical like thing. It's like almost sending a kid to the school system and hoping that they learn. They do the same thing with the church. They say they send them to Sunday school and like that's their religious teaching. I don't need to talk to them at home. And I never ever had a conversation about religion with my parents at home, especially not started by them. And then later on you like wonder why Christians always wonder why like their kids turn away from religion, and like why the rate is so high for kids that go off to college. And it's like, well, maybe it's because you didn't really kind of dive into these conversations with me. You just sent me to a class and assumed that I'd be all right.
Do you think, I mean, looking
maybe
at
you should have asked me some questions and question the things that I'm questioning now in high school. And then you get to high school, it's just, especially when all these now all these people who were never religious are doing everything that they wanted to, and sometimes that means being gay. And then you have to go home and say, hey, mom and dad, why do they get to why is it a sin to be gay? And then they have to answer the only answer that they have, and it's the only one that they have. I don't know. I guess God thinks that that's the way it goes. I guess Jesus is the way to go. I mean, I guess it's a sin like any other, basically. That's what Jesus said in the Bible, so he confirmed
it's a
that.
sin like any other.
Yes, but that means that it's as bad as any negative thing to do. If I steal something, that's as bad as acting on your homosexuality. Because I feel like you could, as a Christian, look at homosexuality like I did as you can have the attraction, but you can never act on it. Mm-hmm. But if you act on it, then you have to look at that as a negative. Like, I did that. I went away from God.
Yeah.
And then you totally ignore all this large group of people that say, hey, I'm not into the opposite sex. I'm not even bi, where I would go either way. I'm only into the same sex as me. And you have to ask the question, is that valid, or is that okay as a Christian? And as a Christian, the answer is always, I guess not. And it's like so confusing, because it's like, I guess not, because I don't see a reason why that's bad, but because this book said that that's not okay and that's as bad as any other, you have to treat it as if it's as bad as any other. Mm-hmm. And you totally you just take away the idea that some people are only into that. Mm-hmm. And I think that if God was good, there was no fucking way that he would make that a thing. That he would just say, okay, you guys are never going to have a satisfying sexual or emotional relationship with another person. Forever. Done. Because everyone would say that marriage...
Because I intended you to be man and woman.
Because everyone would say that marriage is the best way to go. Mm-hmm. Above even being single, even though single is fine too. But like, the way that we were meant is you would say that man and woman, and then so you would say that man and man or woman and woman is not acceptable. It's not as good as it could be. Mm-hmm. And you just ignore that, yes, it can be. These are two individuals having a deep connection on every level. And to say that that's only acceptable in female-male relationships is wild. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know how you guys just fucking gloss over this every time. I don't know how you guys don't... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you not see that? How do you come to a logical conclusion that that's the right way to go? Besides saying that, oh, because you can't have kids, that's the reason. And it's like, all right, that's a decent enough reason all the way until now, where you can do in vitro at every stage of the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or adopt.
But that requires someone else.
Or adopt. And that's what I'm saying is like, are you telling me that two dads or two moms couldn't adopt and raise a kid that's better than yours? Mm-hmm. As far as morally? Yeah. Of course.
But there's so many people that see, or adoption.
I know you agree with me with all this stuff.
Oh, I do. Yeah. Definitely. But do you think the church can, evolve? I know, there's different offsets and,
no.
No, I mean, but, Presbyterian only focuses on one section. Do you think it will adapt into something that kind of ignores that part of the Bible? It wouldn't have, honestly, religion changing over the years, it takes hundreds of years to do. But do you think, like, in today's society, it could happen sooner?
So Catholicism already has. Catholicism has basically said, this is true. I don't know what to think about it. You get to decide for yourself if you believe it. And that's what it said. It said, it sounds like it's right. Mm-hmm. And so I'm not really sure about how the Catholic answer has been, what the Catholic answer has been when it comes to this.
The Pope recently.
I should do more research on the Pope, because that would be the way to go, because I would like to see what the Pope...
He's a very open-minded Pope, like, out of all of them.
Well, yeah, exactly. I think that he's one of the reasons that it's been so progressive. But I think also the past one was pretty progressive.
Did you hear recently? A bunch of, I think, like 11 cardinals in the Catholic Church were just became deacons, I think, or deacons became cardinals and approved by the Pope. And the first black cardinal, actually, from Tennessee, got approved by the Pope recently.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not super excited about that or really particularly care, because it's more of a religious matter, which is kind of above racial. But at the same time, as someone from the outside, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the Catholic Church, but that's cool.
I love how Joe Rogan thinks of the Catholic Church as synonymous with child toucher.
What?
Pedophile, yeah. A lot of people do. A lot of people do.
I feel like there are... I don't want to use the term bad apples, because bad apples is used everywhere. Mm-hmm. But there are always going to be bad apples in the police system, in the Catholic Church, and other things.
Yeah, it
but
like,
to frame
even though it's
the
like
entire like church system, like I think that's also what the LGBTQ community sees religion as. Yeah. And like I came from that. Like I had
you know what the other bad part is? The outside of the LGBT community looks at the LGBT community and only sees the most outspoken people. Oh, yeah. And right now it tends to be advocates. Yeah. So it's like there's all these... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, yeah, but
bad apples in the church system.
Yeah, but to see the whole, like, community of, like, the church as bad because of those, like, small amounts of people is terrible. Yeah. Same with the LGBT community, like what you were saying. Yeah. LGBT community.
Well, I feel like it still should be the LGBT community or LGBTQ.
LGBT.
I feel like T, because it's not just sexuality, and the LGBT or LGBT community is more. It's more sexuality, right?
Gay community. And can we just say gay for everything?
I'm fine with that. I know I hate the letters. I would say gay stuff, yeah. When we're
gay stuff, yeah.
But we were actually talking about the organization. I feel like it should be LGBTQ or whatever. But I think the T is a special.
We used to have an A for alliance.
Then again, I guess because T is also part of all of it, you know, it's part of sexuality. It's actually
everyone's queer. Let's just the queer community.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so funny in the team leader meeting today. I don't know why, but the icebreaker they chose today was Kelly was watching the news recently, and the news described Latinx, and they kept using the term Latinx in the news, and she had to look it up, and she was like, "Does anyone know what Latinx means?" And we were
Welcome to the new world. Welcome to the new world where Latino is not good enough, or Latina is not
Latino, male nor female.
Latino is technically male.
Yeah. Well, Latino. Well, because like Latina, Latino.
Yes.
But Latinx is non-binary.
Latinx is not non-binary.
That's what they said.
Latinx is gender neutral.
This is what. Yeah. Well, gender neutral.
So including everyone who doesn't is not male and female. But Latinx is supposed to be everyone.
This was the store team leaders that are like 45 trying to understand
hilarious?
the like.
You know what's hilarious? Why that they would push for Latinx and not Latin?
True.
Right?
Latin, yeah, I don't know.
Why would you push for Latinx? It's the same thing. Why would you just why don't you just say Latin? Yeah, we're Latin. Nobody's Latin. Nobody speaks Latin. Why would you think that
associates too much to the dead language?
Do you think someone's confused? And not to mention that Spanish would technically be Latino still.
True. I don't know. People get upset.
Is it so awful to say Latin?
Yeah, because that's like a language. How dare you disrespect that dead language?
Yeah, and also I'm not exactly sure if it.
Honestly, the historians probably were upset if they tried using.
No, Latin. It was not the historians that did that. It was not. It was the activists who pushed for Latinx.
Who want to be different.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't get it. I never got the progressive stuff. I guess that's part of growing up conservative. Is you don't really care about the liberals. I guess you want everything to be structured and orderly, and you don't really care about the people who are doing whatever they're doing over there on that side.
I'm just like, you be happy.
Yeah, that's what you guys. That's what the liberals would say. I would say that you're still pretty liberal.
Yeah.
You would say if you were
I've probably decreased
on
the
a
spectrum,
pH
like,
scale.
on the pH.
What does it go to 14? It goes to 14, right? 7 is water.
Yeah.
Okay, on the pH scale, water, 14 being Republican and 0 being liberal.
Really?
You place yourself.
I
as far
pictured
as
the
in your head.
Republicans being the more. Oh yeah.
Well, left to right, you would just start at 0 and go to 14.
I guess that's the basic side.
Yeah, it
And
would
then
be
the
acidic.
Liberals are acidic.
No, you're definitely Republicans are more basic and liberals are more acidic.
They're
I don't
more,
know
like,
where
bleach
you're
versus
coming
lemon
from.
juice.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about here. There's no way that liberals would be. I guess there are basic liberals, but if we're talking about are they basic, are they acidic? Acidic, for sure. There's some spice going on that isn't going on in the Republican Party.
They got that lime juice.
They got a little bit of
where like
zest
all the
in that.
Republicans are milky.
Really? Yeah, I guess you could say that. So, on the pH scale of 0 to 7, liberal,
I probably
0 being the most liberal.
I'd probably say I started out as a 2. No, maybe a 3. Probably a 2. Probably a 2 before I met you.
Probably a 2. Interesting. I felt it, by the way.
Yeah.
I felt it, and I know that
Well,
that's
that was
like...
because like right before I met you, I was like in a lesbian relationship.
I know,
coming out
wild
of high
times,
school,
wild
like-
times. I never thought I would be in a relationship with someone who just came out of a lesbian relationship.
No, wild.
Especially because I was Christian for most
Now
of that.
I'd
Even
say
at the
I'm
time.
more of like a 4.
4, okay.
Yeah, like right in the middle.
Yeah. So it's like in the middle, half
Like-
notch closer to...
Half notch
notch
close
closer
to
to-
moderate.
Yeah, which is fine. I'd say that I started very much so in the center, probably around 7 to 14, 10, 11 ish. That's where I was at the beginning
10.5.
before I met you. Although I was definitely on my way out towards more of a liberal. I would say that now I would say I think I fall in 8. I wouldn't say
Now you're an 8. Wow, you're
I would
very
say that I'm an
moderate.
8. Very moderate. Yeah, no, I'm not really into all that stuff. I don't support capitalism enough to be higher than an 8. It's not that I have any problem with capitalism, and I like capitalism, especially over something as awful as communism. But at the same time, I'm not gonna like ignore that there's problems going on. You know what I mean? And because I'm not gonna ignore those problems, I can't dive into capitalism. What's up?
Okay, so I just looked up the scale. And so I was, on average, a lemon juice. And now I'm still in the realm of acid rain. But I'm more of a fish reproductor affected. I'm like, that's what a 4 is. Let me look at
That's
you.
an 11.
An 11?
That's where I
That's where
was.
you said you
And
were?
then I'm now about an 8, maybe an 8.5.
Okay, you were of Milk of Magnesia. Man,
Milk of Magnesia. What is that?
it's an old...
Go to a new tab, search up the
No,
title.
I
Oh, you
like
know
this
it.
one. Stop it!
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You were Milk of Magnesia, which is like a medicine they used in the 1700s. And now you're more of a baking soda or seawater.
Okay, seawater is pretty not bad. It's like, I like seawater. I'm a seawater. Now I'm a seawater.
Doug, stop using the baby toy.
Now I feel like I'm more of a seawater.
I gotta stop that dog. You're adorable.
Adorable.
love
She
you
wants
so
to play.
much.
She likes the energy. She's loving it. Close the door. Thank you.
Oh, I feel bad.
Oh man.
I gotta find a different scale. I don't want to be a fish reproductive
I love
system.
it. I love it. Fish reproductive system. What the hell? What kind of scale is this?
Nice and acidic.
Why would I need to know what the acidity of the fish reproductive?
I'm like
scale
black
is?
coffee.
Black coffee. All right, that's better.
I was lemon juice.
That's pretty strong. Lemon juice to black coffee is actually really well. It's like
That's
really
a
good to
good
see where you
scale.
came from. Did
You're-
you saw mine?
Let me-
I went from something to seawater.
Okay.
I remember that.
You went from. Okay, are you a salt? Are you more of a 9 or an 8?
I was 11 and I said I went down to
8.
8. Yeah.
Okay. So you are seawater. But 11 is also household ammonia.
I went from household pneumonia, cleaning stuff, to seawater. So that's pretty good. So both of us became more moderate. I would say that that's fair. Why would you say that, though? Why would you say that you've changed?
I feel like we've both changed each other in that aspect of, like, not... I mean...
I feel like I was willing to
exposed
think
to
about
an
things
open
more.
mind. Yeah, me too. Meeting
I forced
you.
you to.
Oh yeah.
You never talked about this stuff with me unless I pushed
I
it.
feel like everyone at my age, because I've seen Hannah
Yeah.
go through the same thing. Being exposed to new people and new points of view really changes
Right.
yourself. Like, no matter what precious snowflake you are, if you're exposed to people that think, or if you're willing to think critically, your mind will definitely get changed for the better, really.
Yeah, for the better.
Even if you, like, think critically and see these viewpoints and still have a strong base of, like, that can either, just looking at people's viewpoints, that can either confirm or, like, harden your stance on whatever you believe. And I feel like that's necessary for people to do.
Yeah. When people
I think
don't
it
do
benefited
and that's,
us.
and I do feel like if I said what's the problem, if you said what's the problem with society right now, and I've told you before, I would say it's we don't talk enough, and we tell each other we don't talk enough.
Yeah.
And so, like, what's the way to get through this is to have conversations about the difficult topics.
Yeah.
And that's the way forward. And I feel like with our relationship, that's what I pushed. Or I probably started it, and then you were, as soon as you accepted that that's what you that was a better way to go. And then I feel like we started having really good conversations about stuff.
Yeah. I was so timid when we first got together. I didn't want anything to go
Yeah.
bad, so I didn't want to talk about anything
Yeah.
serious.
And I feel like I was stupid for pushing so hard at the time. Like, looking back, maybe I should have been more gentle. Maybe I should have just let it happen.
Mhm.
Instead of just kind of, like, making it awkward. Fucking dog. But I am so glad we had those conversations. Do you remember, like, when we first talked about it?
I remember...
In like, your room or whatever?
I don't know.
Was
What
it on your
happened?
room? Was it on the phone?
I don't know. I think it was
remember.
over text, and I was very nervous, and then you were getting mad that I wasn't responding quick enough, and I
Yeah,
was like,
I was
don't
thinking
know
about
what to
I was
do.
thinking about some stuff, and you were just like taking a year between texts, and I was
Because
like,
I-
I'm going fast here. Come on, catch up.
Because I was like, I never talk serious
And then
over
it made me
text, so I
upset because
wanted
I was
to
just
think
like,
about
why-
it seriously.
Yeah, I was like, why is she not taking me seriously by actually thinking about these with full focus right now? Thank you.
being a dumbass.
I know, she's being a dumbass. And then I was just like, why is she just like not giving me the light of day by like at least giving me like thought, like showing me that she was thinking differently.
I was thinking
intensely.
so intensely.
I know.
And I didn't want
I know
so
that.
like over
I knew that too
text,
then.
like texting people. I would so much rather call people, and like that's what we do now. Like
Yeah.
we never text. I just call you instantly.
Yeah, and that's because neither of us liked it.
Yeah.
Neither of us
Because
liked
like
text.
I
It was
would.
not very fun.
Yeah, you would be like thinking a mile a minute, and I'd be like not wanting to send something that could be interpreted negatively. I wanted it
Right.
to be exactly what I meant it to be. So like over
Right.
text, it was never enough. Like if I sent something quickly, you'd be like, "What kind of context is this in?" Or like you would take the context out of form or something.
No, I was also not interpreting it the way you thought I was going to.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I was afraid of that, and that's why it took me so long to respond, because I was like, he needs to know what I mean, but like.
Right. But you wanted to refine it more, and I was like pushing for
You're
going
like, I
faster.
need answers, and I was like,
Yeah, it was always better to talk about that
I'm
stuff. in
writing an
person.
essay here.
What was the most serious thing we talked about at the beginning of our relationship? I feel like for me, the thing that is like the dirty, like I really want to know about her for like every reason, is your past relationships and your past main relationship. That was the thing that I was just like, I really want to know those things. Like I remember talking about those still. I remember the heart racing like tension that it is to talk about like your partner's past relationships, especially because I didn't have any. At the time.
You had
Yeah,
a few, and
couple.
I still get
I had
that
some in
tight
high school,
feeling.
but who cares?
But still, like, I feel like high school relationships, I still get that tight feeling, like, oh my god, like when we ran into, like, the girl you had a crush on, or whatever in high school, the one you took the picture of.
I didn't have a crush on her. I thought she was lovely and she was really beautiful.
Well,
but
you
I
were
didn't have a crush
talking
on her.
all these compliments about her, and I was getting nervous.
Stephanie, I think is what her name was. I saw her at the
PetSmart.
PetSmart, yeah, and then we didn't say anything. We didn't say anything. She didn't say anything to me, and I didn't say anything to her. I feel like I take responsibility for whatever reason. I know I shouldn't, but I feel like it's my fault. I should have said hi to her, but she also didn't say anything to me. So maybe it's okay to
What a high school
just see
drama.
each other and not talk. Well, she was lovely. She
yeah, no, I know.
she overcame some health stuff, I guess, when she was a baby, and I don't know what that has to do with anything, but I used her as my model because I thought she was beautiful, and I was like, would you be my model? And she would.
Mm-hmm.
And she was gorgeous.
Yeah.
She was gorgeous.
All these compliments make me a little jealous. And
She
that's
had
like
a great
the,
smile. She
no,
had a
I
lovely
totally
smile.
understand, but this is like one of the moments like in my life that I'm like, oh, I don't like that about myself.
Interesting.
Like, I don't
always
like-
thought you were beautiful.
Well, yeah, whatever. But but like just you thinking someone else is also beautiful, like also like you know that
It's
little
totally
fire
different.
that like
I feel it. I feel it.
But you
It's the same way that
understand.
you were talking about your past relationships.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted
exactly.
to know.
But like
it's
this
not
isn't
exactly
even
for
a past
reason.
relationship for you, but I still feel
Yeah.
that like slight flame inside.
It's
like,
like
ooh,
it's the
no.
thing that you as an adult you should know about your partner, like everything about your partner, and then also as an adult you should realize that it's not important.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to come to terms with
Exactly.
both, and both of those are like you come to terms with them differently, but you need to come to terms with both.
Mhm.
This doesn't matter, but you do need to know, because like, you know what I mean. Like just you knowing about your past relationships and never sharing them with me is actually a burden on you too,
Yeah.
because you should share that. And I feel like that's something that you need to like know that I can't go back to something like that. I should share every little part of me.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that you have to share anything at any point, but that is something eventually you should come to terms with.
Yeah.
And maybe if someone has gone through some serious trauma, that they need to be the exception and come to it on their own terms. But at the same time, I feel like I also was pretty careful, and I wanted to know if you had gone through any like serious things, and it sounded like you were good. You never went through some serious trauma, as far as I know.
No.
Yeah, which is good because I was really worried about that because I didn't, I worry for people who've gone through that. And I worry about like what I worry for them.
Yeah.
And I feel for them, and I'm just like, if you had gone through that, I would have been immediately very trying as supportive as I could be.
Mm.
Yeah, and I'm glad you have it.
Yeah.
Have you talked to someone who's gone through trauma?
Not really.
Yeah.
Have
I remember
you?
in high school that I was talking to that girl. That girl. She was out
needs
there.
help.
She needed a lot of help. Yeah, she needed a lot of help. And at the time, I took it so, like, I don't know how I took it. I didn't know how to respond, so I didn't really respond.
Seemed
As
like,
if it was as out of the ordinary as it
it
actually
seems like you were like,
was
oh,
for me at the time.
she's dealing with this.
She was
and
out
left
there,
it at
and I knew that she was out there. And for some reason, I like, oh, she's just a person just like anybody else, but she was more out there than I realized. And it, to the point where I had to stop being friends with her because it was just the same stupid stuff over and over and over. And I was telling her realistically, this is what's happening, this is how you should respond, this is what you should do. And she was just like ignoring me. And I was frustrated because I was like, someone in your family and then also another person in your family. Two different people in their family were abusing them. And I was like...
But some people can't get out of that, like, victim state.
And I'm just like, what are you doing? Get out of it.
They don't even see that they're a victim in this situation.
I know they don't. And I'm like telling you, this is bad. Here's the reasons it's bad. Why are you still here?
You can't accept that when it's, like, part of your
and
life.
And then he died. And then one of them died.
And then she idealized them.
Yes.
Because
she did. Before I even had known about that, she idealized them. It was awful.
Depressing.
It is depressing. That's why I'm just like, I knew about her. A lot of people did because she was very like, I need to help, basically. She was all of that. It seems like to me now was a call for help.
Mm-hmm.
That she was open about telling people about it because she wanted people to tell her what to do, and she didn't. And I feel like she wasn't mature enough at the time to actually come to do the right thing.
So
she
many
wasn't.
people are like that.
She's in high school. To expect her to have known what to do and like been confident in her decisions is ridiculous.
Yeah, like it
like
really
same
is,
like any other boy. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
it's like,
but like
that is
some
ridiculous.
people like that is their cry for help.
And women go through that way more than
exposing that because like I had a coworker last year who just moved up here and she was like, oh yeah, me and my boyfriend are doing great, like we're doing all this and that. And it's like, but it turns out she was like constantly complaining about how controlling he was and how cute it was that he wanted to control her whole life and blah 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 blah. And I was like, Mary,
Ooh,
these are
a call for
not
help.
good.
That is not good.
This is not okay.
Bro.
Like, and fucking.
It's
Let's
easy
go
to-
back to Midnight Sun. Let's talk about how controlling and abusive the relationships
Wait, that's what
are
Hannah
and
told
all
you?
the red flags.
That's what Hannah told you.
No,
Oh.
Mary was telling me this.
Oh, okay.
She's a terrible employee. I'm glad she's gone.
She complained all day about her boyfriend and never
She
did
complained all
anything
day
about
about
it.
her boyfriend and then was like, we need you to make this cup of coffee. And then she'd be like, I have to help that customer and just walk away.
Oh, god damn, Mary.
I hope she's doing okay.
But anyway,
I hope she broke up with her
that girl
boyfriend.
I knew in high school, that was the first time I had gone through. I feel like you talk to someone with like who's going through some stuff or going through some stuff, and then you kind of that's from that point on you actually ask other people about if they're going through something. But you actually have to have had someone in your life that has gone through something. Not necessarily, but like you would ask more if you've had someone in your life that's gone through something, then you would be more likely to ask from that point on. So that's why I asked you. Otherwise, I don't think I would have asked you if I hadn't.
I don't understand this question.
I asked you if you had gone through some trauma, like lightly. Like, has anything ever happened to you in the past? And you said no. So I was like, okay, now I know that she hasn't gone through anything,
Yeah.
any abuse.
Okay.
And I wanted to know because that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't gone through any abuse either, thank God.
Good.
Whatever that means.
No emotional baggage. I mean, emotional baggage.
As far as, but like from that specific thing, neither of us have gone through.
Yeah.
Even, yeah. As serious as that is. Yeah. I feel like I told you before I would give my parents a C if I gave them a grade rating.
Yeah.
And
And
from
I think
what-
I agreed, like, mine was the same rate.
Yeah.
Do it, was it? I
I
don't
guess
remember.
I guess I could probably say that growing up that's actually what people shoot for generally. Everybody looks at their parents as if they got a C.
Yeah.
If I were to take a statistic, I would say that everyone averages about C.
Yeah. Because that's what, realistically, you can never, parenting's
'Cause
so
it's so
difficult.
hard, yeah, no, and I don't expect to be perfect when it happens to
No.
us, but
It's never going to be perfect.
yeah, and I feel like
Just
if
like,
I expect
You're
perfection,
going to be
then of course I'm
stubborn,
gonna
or
be
your kid's
disappointed.
going to be stubborn.
I can do the best I can, and that's really all I can do.
Yeah. And maybe, like, the best you can is to tunnel vision and you can't see
Right.
what your kids' needs are.
It's so
but
easy to misjudge, especially with parenting.
Exactly.
And I just want the right, like them to say the right
Yes.
answer, you know?
They aren't going to.
You know? Religion is so hard for me.
I know.
And it's not hard for me as far as like it's hard the situation that I'm put in. I feel like now, for me, you know, just to have been religious and then to accept it as not true anymore is rough.
Definitely.
Not like going through it. It's it's like the basis of which your foundation like relies on, and then you just go no, it's actually not at that. So then you just take a pyramid and then you just kind of wipe out the whole bottom layer, and then now you have to.
Now you just have bricks.
Now
Or
you're
gonna
all
assemble
busted. Now
those?
you have to figure out what's going on, and then it's kind of rough because
You're building your own
more,
bricks.
more than you
for the
realize. I
atheist
feel
life
like
you're living.
yeah, more than I feel like people realize. We're like leaning on that. Like thank you. I feel like everybody has thoughts on religion and stuff like that. You know what I mean? What? Mighty Dry?
Oh, never mind. I thought it was 19%.
19.2 ounces.
Yeah, my bad.
I feel like more of their personality relies on that, like the reliance on their answer already. That then people realize, like you gotta know a little bit. Like you don't have to know the answers, but you have to have thought about it. Because if you had never thought about there ever having been existed like a god, like you never even considered it, then you've been living a very interesting tunnel vision life. Because everybody at some point goes, "Is there a god?" and then they answer it. And then you answer it though. Is there a God? Probably not, or probably yes. But at least you said probably yes or probably not.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but like, what if you had never thought about it, and then suddenly you're like 30 or 40, and then you think about it, and then you go, "Holy shit! I have no answers. I have never thought about this before."
I feel like so many people are content
I've never
with
really
that.
I've never questioned it before. And then you get older, and the older you get, the more you start thinking about dying, and then you start thinking about living, and then you start thinking about the nature of reality.
Do you think that's why there's so many, like, the people in the church are, like, usually on the elderly side? Like, it seems
that
like
it's
people...
leans that direction for sure.
It seems
for
like
sure.
people take a large gap.
That
They
stabilizes people a lot.
are raised in the church. They take a large gap afterward once they leave the home.
Yes.
And then usually around the time when they have kids again,
Yeah.
or later in life when they retire, they go back.
They realize that
And
they
they
didn't
need
have a really
some
good grasp
stance.
on reality, and they need something that something to
It's
answer those questions.
substantial.
And then the church goes, here's the answer, and then you either accept it or you don't. It's true. And then it's just so compelling. You're just like, there's a God, there's a person that loves me at all times, even in my darkest moments. Even when I'm considering suicide, it's like there's a God there that is actually saying, don't do that, just follow me.
Yeah.
That's compelling. It's compelling, and it's beautiful. And if you think about it, and you don't hate on Christianity for its faults, as in homosexuality and stuff, which is the main one, and you actually look at what we're talking about a being that is the straight up like personification of love and understanding and all positive attributes of anything. That is what that is supposed to represent. And if you actually believe that that's a real person that is literally the personification of those things, that's lovely. Of course I want to believe that if it's real. And if you're telling me it's real, then maybe it is. And so you go down those paths and you go to the church and then you do what everybody else does and forget why it's so good that you're a part of the church. You know? And then you start thinking about the reality is that unfortunately that story is not true. I feel like this is my perspective. Unfortunately that story, as beautiful as it is, as lovely as it is to hear, it's like there's no possible way that as a human I can confirm that that's true, and actually everything points in the opposite direction. You can't tell me that your basis for reality is the Bible and then tell it to me with a smile and then me to go, okay, you just told me that a book is the basis for reality, and I know who writes those. I know who writes books. It's not God. I know who writes books. It's God. It's not God. And maybe you could say that God wrote through them, but then did he? I guess you could say that.
I mean,
it's
it was
not
realistically just
impossible, but do you know that? No. I know you don't know that. And then you go, okay, well then how else can I confirm that the Bible's true? So then you have to confirm it historically. And then they go, okay, so the earth was made in 6 days literally, and there was a flood that was all over the whole earth, because it says the whole earth in the Bible. And you have to go, okay, so that means that there's confirmation. Bam! The flood was real.
What about the coal?
The coal would be a great idea, like if it made sense. There isn't. Okay, so when you flood the earth, the surface area gets bigger, which means there'd have to be more trees than were on the earth to make a sheet of. There had to have been more trees than there was surface area on the globe for there to be enough logs to create a layer of coal around the whole earth at the same time.
Could be patchy.
It could be patchy. It could be patchy.
I'm trying to.
But like,
this is a ridiculous claim.
But then there'd be more. Then there'd be like, okay, so then look at the dirt layers. There'd be a clear. This is where the whole earth and all living things on it were wiped out at one time, and there's nothing suggesting that there was a flood at one point. There's floods, but it doesn't say that there was one flood at the same time around the whole earth. And so you go, okay, so the Bible isn't taken literally. You can't take it literally, and that's fine because every book is the same way. But your claim that the Bible is perfect and given by God, not so true. It's just I don't understand why people ignore that when it's so obvious to me.
Because it's easier to believe.
It's easier
to
it's
just
so much easier. It's so easier to believe that someone wants to give you a hug instead of that you're cold and alone on a rock flying through space with a bunch of other monkeys.
I want a big hug.
And I would like to be always having a hug if I believe that, you know?
Yeah.
If like there's someone who's literally always hugging me.
Yeah.
But
That's
instead,
so comforting.
But instead, life is more suffering than that, I feel like.
Why are you such a pessimist?
It's pessimistic, but it's real.
Yeah, it is.
You know?
I'm the same.
Try to do nothing. Just try to do nothing. You can't not do nothing.
I feel like, I don't know.
The fact that you have to move forward or do something at all times means that if you stopped, you would die.
Yeah. I don't know the difference in between you and I, because, like, I have the same viewpoints as this, but, like, you really focus on this. Like, I didn't grow up in the church. Like, I went to Wednesday school for, like, a month, or for, like, a year with my friend in 4th grade. But that was the extent, really. But, like, I don't focus on all of this. I'm content with just living aimlessly on this rock, flying through space.
Yeah. If you hit some good notes, then you're good.
Yeah. I'm gonna live how I live, and I'm gonna love and live to the best of my ability.
So, yeah.
But like I don't know if like being in the church and leaving the church has necessarily helped you, because it seems like this is your biggest struggle.
It has. I have more.
I don't know. I believe it has.
Yeah.
But it seems like this is your biggest struggle overall.
Yes. Yeah. Well, in the church they tell you this is the
yeah.
most important thing to you.
Yeah. Personally, it's difficult because like I see that and we came to the same conclusion, but you're still struggling with that, and I don't like seeing you suffer so much over this big question, and it is huge.
With
but
everything.
I feel like I'm content with the answer, and you're constantly trying to like figure out why
I just
it
want to
could be
logic
better.
through it sometimes.
Yeah. Or how it could be better.
And it's frustrating to me that you can't just like brute force logic through something like that, because it's so complicated, and literally it takes your whole lifetime to really feel like you've answered it, and even then you might not have. And even then you might not have, but I feel like I just keep getting surprised that everyone's not obsessed with it. Because I feel like you're like, especially Christians, it's like, how is this not at all times you're the biggest thing to
Are you upset with me that I don't obsess about
I
it?
was only like sour about it for a little while, because I was like, okay, I thought at first it was just you weren't used to talking about that stuff, and that was also true, but also it's mostly because it just didn't concern you.
Yeah.
So it was like, I don't, and then I had to get over that. I had to be like, okay, well, it's not like she's treating me poorly. It's not like she's not sharing that with me. It's just not something she's worried about.
I'm
and I should remember that. And so like I never pushed it hard.
Mm-hmm.
I pushed for it to have happened.
Yeah.
And then after that, I kind of let it lax, and it just came up when it did. And then when it came up, every once in a while, I would say what I thought, and that was it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it should be. I feel like, and especially in a loving, long-term relationship, you share what you think, even if it's kind of wild.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. And I like that. I like the freedom to be able to share out loud with someone, because it's like you're like my best friend, essentially. You've always been my best friend.
Same.
And I was just like, I'm not going to settle for anything less than my best friend and my dating partner and then life partner. Right. And like the dating is essentially, could this person be my best friend? And that's what I feel like it is. Could this person be my best friend and us have awesome sex? Even not every time, but most of the time, or at least often. Awesome sex often. Awesome sex often, and also best friend. And if you don't have, that's the two flags that need to be checked before you can get married. Like, to confirm that these two things would be true.
What about no sex before marriage?
Yeah, that was a long thing, and I feel like that's a good to remember to be friends. That it's because you get obsessed with the good sex, but it's both of them. And there literally is like two sides of that coin in relationships. Do I want to have a future with them?
Yeah.
Is essentially like the evolutionarily / religious way.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only argument for not being gay is literally one that in modern times doesn't matter.
I spaced out. What?
The only argument you could ever have that outside of the church that says God says don't is because you can't have kids technically evolutionarily.
Oh yeah.
We've always had kids, so now you don't want kids. Well, obviously you're doing the wrong thing. You should have kids. Yeah, you should have real kids that are yours.
Who cares about the population?
Yeah. But because of modern science and because of modern understandings of actually how humans work and how it's more important for two people to have happy, sane relationship with each other than to have just pound out some kids. Now that we're at the population we are now, then it doesn't matter anymore. Like there's no negative to being gay, is what I'm saying. But if you're religious, you just believe there is because.
Makes sense. Whew. Jacob, we have to end soon because I really have to pee.
Okay. That was our first episode, 128.
Wait, don't we have to do a conclusion of some sort?
A conclusion? Okay. This year, in 2020, we bought a bookshelf and filled it with books.
This wasn't even about what we talked about in this
year,
podcast.
In 2020, we bought a bookshelf. I never had a bookshelf ever.
Never had a bookshelf?
Never had a bookshelf. This is the only bookshelf I've ever owned.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
So sad.
Maybe I have had a bookshelf, but I never remember having one. We
bookshelf.
never had one, especially in like a living area. And I had a closet with some shelves. That's the closest thing to a bookshelf I've ever had. Because that was from 3rd grade on. I definitely only had that. And I had that, yeah. And then before that, I was in a tiny house in a child, so I didn't have any books. Yeah. This is the first bookshelf I ever owned, and I owned it with you.
It's looking nice.
Yeah, it's got a coconut monkey on there, a hippo, and
got
books.
And the Xfinity monitor.
The Xfinity monitor, which I drilled a hole in the back, and then it wasn't high enough, so I just shredded the back to fit the wires through.
Yeah, it worked.
It works.
Like, worst case scenario, we'll just put some
It's
books
only
in front of that
fireworks in
hole.
the drawer. The cabinet.
There's fireworks and a drill.
Dude, remember the big one we got it for 4th of July?
That made me so
I was nervous too. Everything else was like
God.
tame. Everything
And
else was tiny.
Yeah.
And I didn't think that the last one, the one that we bought for like $50, that was that I bought for $50.
We moved our cars, put the firework in the center of the driveway, and then
Yeah.
we invited our pregnant neighbor to come watch it with
wouldn't have
us.
been okay. I had jugs of water everywhere. I was
You did.
prepared, and
You
then I
were
had
very
I had the fire extinguisher
had-
in hand, ready to go.
Yeah, and my watering can.
Yeah, and the whole time I was lighting it with a blowtorch, and then putting it in a bucket. I think wherever
Yeah.
the tiny ones,
Yeah.
or dumping
But
water over it at least.
it was huge. It took
It was
like
huge, the last one.
It took like a 20 square foot.
Yeah.
20 square foot. It took like a 20 by
sure,
20.
Sure, 25. I would say would be
A
better.
25 by 25 like square foot square.
Like
or
it
so.
was on dirt, except it
dirt.
was lined with bushes, which is the
Lined
issue.
with dry bushes.
Dry bushes.
We were idiots.
We're in the
But
middle of
like, and
summer.
it went on
It's
for
so
so
crazy.
long.
4th
It
of July,
went on-
the fireworks season is in fire season.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of
But
summer.
also, we
That
live
is so
in
stupid.
Jacob,
Why don't we have that in like
Jacob,
winter?
we live in Monterey, and you bought this big ass firework. Monterey
Yeah.
is a no fire zone.
I did it,
No
though.
fireworks allowed.
Hell yeah, I did it.
And you did that.
Hell yeah.
And I was like pulling
Break some
my
rules,
hair
man.
out because
Break
this
some
fire,
rules.
this
Fuck yeah.
this $50,
The cops can come by. I'll
firework
pay
thing.
the fine. It was worth it.
the smoke lingered, and then there's a hotel next to us.
Yeah, they were
next
cheering.
to our apartment.
They were cheering.
And the people were
They were having a
cheering
good time.
afterwards.
They were
They're
gonna
like,
see fireworks
"Thank
in
you."
Monterey.
Oh man! And it was
Did they say
foggy
thank
that
you?
night too, so you couldn't see the fireworks that were happening in Seaside.
Oh, yeah. True.
Oh
Yeah,
man!
that was
So
a
we
good
just
night.
had our little floor show.
Yeah, I was nervous about that though. I bet she was probably terrified being pregnant and in a new apartment
All
is
this
gonna get
smoke
burned
happening.
down. Like, can you imagine?
Oh,
Oh,
man.
God.
She brought watermelon. That was
Oh,
sweet.
she's a lovely, lovely lady.
Yeah.
We have nice neighbors.
I have to give her my Animal
We
Crossing
literally have
code.
the property manager above us and then a pregnant couple next to us. So, or actually, I guess now with a little baby. Not even a year old.
Not even
It's
5
also,
months old.
before we go, okay, let's do a run over
Okay.
of
I really have to pee. But let's do a run over.
Pee. Just
no,
go.
No, I'm
Just,
here.
Just go
We're
and
going.
I'll
We're
keep
doing
talking.
this.
Just go and I'll keep talking.
No, I don't want them to hear me pee.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll be talking. They
Just
can't hear
keep
you.
talking.
Just be quiet.
We're fine.
Okay. Well, you said you had to pee.
I'll do it
Okay,
later.
real quick, as fast as you can, like as much, like go over your whole life until now. Go.
What?
What happened? Start the story. Go.
I
How
was
did it start?
born.
Okay. Yes. What happened next?
I had a goldfish.
Yeah, you had a goldfish. Okay, but
She
you
jumped
okay.
out of the bowl.
From when to from 0 to graduated high school. Go.
So much memory.
Yeah, just go
I
quickly.
I was small.
It was all right.
I had a dog.
You had
I
a
was
dog. Lovely
small.
dog.
I had some finches. My parents moved. Oh, I remember my daycare. That was a fun place. There was
Place.
a bearded
Go,
dragon.
go, we don't have time!
I was small.
Yeah, keep going. Preschool, you liked it. Go, next.
Okay, we moved to Texas.
Texas. Did you like
Yeah.
it?
No, we moved to Colorado first.
Did you like
I really
it?
liked Colorado. That's the picture where I was in.
You don't have time! Where'd you go after Colorado?
Okay, we went to Texas. I was jealous of like my friend. Anyway, and then we moved. This is all before first grade.
Okay, first grade, go.
No,
You
we
were in
lived in
Salinas?
Sacramento.
Sacramento. Did you like it?
No, it was West Sacramento.
West Sacramento. Did
This
you
is
like
so
it?
stressful.
Did you like it?
I liked it.
Okay, next.
I had a crush on
Where'd
this
you-
kid named Peter.
Yeah,
and then he peed his pants.
we don't know. We don't have time. Moving on.
Okay, and then we moved to Salinas, and I stayed there through high school, and then I met
Yes.
you in my
Yeah,
life.
changed
got
for
married,
sure.
and then we
Everyone
got a
was like,
dog.
"Ooh, should you get married?" And I'm just like, "Yeah," because we love each other and we're planning on staying with each
And
other.
my family
so.
was like, no, and I was
Like,
like,
how dare
yes!
you? And your mom literally said no.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about that. We couldn't talk about
She
Peter
came
wetting
around.
his pants.
She came around.
Your life, go.
Go. Okay, I was born. I was raised in the church. We used to be in town, and then we moved to a big building. And I remember the founding of it. It was 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 1950. 19
What happened next?
What happened next? Oh no, I'm stressed. I grew up through high school. Through middle school. I was pretty lonely. High school, I actually found some friends and were able to figure it out a little bit better. But I feel like and then I moved to George Fox in Oregon, which was awesome for a year, my first year of college. And it was great. I met a bunch of people, but ultimately engineering was not for me, so I came back to Salinas.
Lame.
I did community college classes for a while, which is all right. And then the whole time I've been working. First, I worked at Star Market, where I met you.
Lame.
Yeah, pretty lame. I was the bagger, and then I was a butcher, and then I was, which I actually had a falling out with the manager there, and so then I asked to with the manager Art, and that's why I left the butcher. Yeah, too much. I can't. I don't know some time.
Go faster.
I left, and then I moved, and then for the next for 2 years or for another year, I was a stalker in the store, or a year and a half, and then I moved, and then I worked at 7-Up for a year, and I hated it, and then I moved positions to a job at Pepsi, and I've been there for about 2.5 years, and I still hate it. No, I've been there for a year, a year and a quarter, basically.
I didn't even talk about my job, and you just glossed
over
your relationship with me.
Yeah, well, I was gonna go back.
Me. You can't go back. You gotta go chronologically.
I said where I met you, but I was talking about my positions as me, because that's an us thing. But I was talking about me. I guess I got married when I was. Was I still at 7-Up? I was still at 7-Up. We were freshly married when I was with Pepsi. Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well I forgot. We got married September 17th, 2019. 7th, excuse me. I knew it was 7.
Jacob, are we done?
Terrible memory, remember. Okay, 7th. I literally to this day would still say that was the best day of my life.
Yeah, it was.
And I feel like,
it was.
Yeah, it was a lot of good lead-ups and a really good time. And so it was a lot of good things that day. And for sure, I would say it was the best day of my life.
Second.
And then we had we moved directly into your grandma's place.
No, we got
right off the beach. On literally in
your time
rich
is
place.
Wrong.
What? We got married and then we went back to our. Okay, I guess we moved back to the place we were already living.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was on the beach.
We were living there, and then we got married, and then a month later we moved into this current apartment.
Yeah, which is still in Monterey, but lovely. It's lovely. So it's
our bedroom view is a brick wall, but that's still nice.
But that's just the bedroom window.
That's just the bedroom.
Window. I guess the other view is just a road and trees.
But yeah.
You have to pee. But that's...
So this is Jacob and Piper's life so far.
Yeah. And it's been lovely. We got a dog also, Tracy.
She's an asshole, but you know.
She sits on the floor, but what are you going to do? And I love you.
I love you too.
And podcast.